I worked with people going through the Redress WA scheme. People were very excited and scared. There was quite a level of mistrust. People then sort of took the plunge, told their very painful stories. People describe it as being as hard as the abuse itself, to go back and look in detail at really traumatic experiences that they'd consciously not thought about for many years. So when the payment cuts were announced, it was devastating. There's no way really to capture it other than it was re-abuse by the system.
I had to put my mind back when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11-year-old, because all these things happened to me right through the years. To say you're not worth anything, we're just going to give you, probably when you look out, about $1 a day. That's all it was, $1 a day or less. That's all you're worth.
But it was never about the money, it was about the healing for me. That changed when the government halved the money, and then it became about the money. It's like, how dare they? They cheated us in the first place and they're still cheating us now. And this rubbish of changing government, that doesn't sit well with me. But anyway, that's their reason for it, and we had no choice.
It was like a little pot of gold for all that childhood that I endured. And then virtually to have that pot of gold and the plans that you had made for that money ripped away by having it reduced in half was very traumatising in itself.
I didn't know what we were going to get, because people had been paid out before. I mean, some as low as 13,000, so I wasn't expecting a great deal out of it. But then when they offered me the 45, I actually got angry and just about smashed my door down, because I thought, you mongrels knew you were at fault and you're going to give us a bit of blood money. And then I thought, stuff it. It was supposed to be 85. If you're stating that you got paid out the maximum severity of child abuse, plus it was sexual abuse, where's the maximum payout gone? So yeah, it actually pissed me off, and still does.
We had to recount the instances of abuse, sexual, physical, emotional, and then we submitted the application, and then nothing was heard from for at least, probably for over a year, when the redress people who didn't have a physical manifestation, just a telephone number, then you were given a letter of apology and take it or leave it, 45,000 or less. It took no account of the damages that were endured or suffered by people in the institutions for which the state was responsible.
It was definitely the case of let's get this over and done with. Let's get out of this as cheaply as possible. Let's just slap these people off and hope that they die or be forgotten, as we are called, the forgotten Australians.
Why'd they promise us the money and then halve it? Why'd they do that? It was just ridiculous. That's why we all protested. That's why we done what we done.
Again, we're being sort of treated poorly, and I can't emphasise that enough. And we're all dying off. I'm 85 this year, and how much longer am I going to live?
I got 45,000, and I presume I was due to get 90,000, because I think that's what happened. They split it in half. They did, and I just took it on the chin.
We, the people who were trying to get something of benefit out of the redress, have just been knocked down again by this display of you are not in control of this.
I thought I'd be right for me and my kids, get out and have everything for my kids. But then they cut it in half.
When the compensation was chopped in half, that was, to me personally, that wasn't what did the damage to me. It was the whole attitude of the whole thing. And as a man, I would like to get up and say something to you, which I hope sticks in your throat and you choke on it, because you have no integrity, you have no wisdom, you have no principle, you have absolutely nothing on your side except the law. We have the principle, the ethics, the moral, it's all on our side.
Can we get the help that we need here in Western Australia by the new government that can undo the damage that's been done to Western Australia and the needy people?
In the old days, the bag wasn't as simple as this. It was a lot smaller. It was an old cast-off purse from a mother. But it's always contained the same things. 2 pair of underwear and some sort of toilet roll, whether it was newspaper or one of the more modern things. That is the curse of being a baby child in a boys' home with no discipline, manned or frequented by male and female pedophiles. And the fact that no government ever sent anyone up to check us, to talk to us, ask us if we were right or if we were well, or if anything was happening to us that should not have been. But when a government can come forward and say, we are going to redress the situation that happened, and it will be an open book, and then say, oh dear, we don't have sufficient money for that because we want to build a new football field at Burswood. And for those of us who have suffered, it's a massive kick in the guts.
He was told he was entitled to the higher amount because of what happened to him and that. And then when it was lowered, everything just plummeted. His whole earth dropped out from underneath him, and he thought he was going to get some kind of closure through it. And he lost that closure. He lost his life. He lost everything. And yeah, I felt sad and upset for him because it was one thing that was out of my control that I couldn't have any control over.
I was listening to a Howard Sattler program, and there were some people saying that, oh, we were only interested in the money, you know, what happened. That's what they did in those days, you know, and put up with it, you know, you can't change what happened. We weren't trying to change what happened. We wanted to be heard. We wanted to be acknowledged.
Oh, I suppose like everybody else, I was disappointed that the government cut our compensation by half. What we went through, it still hurt to this day.
I'm sure for most people that were in Redress, it really wasn't about the money, right? But, when you offer somebody X amount of dollars, give them that X amount of dollars. Don't just say, oh, you can have that little bit, but we'll take that bit back. That doesn't work. If we were to do that to them, they wouldn't like that, and we didn't like that, and that we should be reimbursed that money that they owe us, I believe.
The mere pittance, the redress money was a mere pittance to the amount of time, years, 11.5 years, spent in an institution of child slave labour, and it was child slave labour, there's no doubt about it. So it's really pretty bad what they've been through, and as far as that goes, myself and my children have been through it. That's it.
Almost 6,000 vulnerable West Australians were harmed by the Redress WA scheme. They were re-abused, in effect. And what the government needs to do now is make that original promise right. There's an opportunity now for the Labor government to make Redress WA right.